the old times, there was this saying, no, that Vedas were taught as Shruti. They were received as only Shruti, in the sense they were heard by the sages in their minds. And the minds were so tuned to the mind of God, their Jnana Atmani was so tuned to the Mahati Atmani, which in turn was so tuned to the Parabrahman, the Shanta Atmani, that whatever the Shanta Atmani spoke, it was heard in the Pashyanti or Para or Madhyama Vani by the Jnana Atmani of the Rishis. And Jnana Atmani of the Rishis ensured that it was further taught to Ajnana Atmani. Ajnana Atmanis are those who are not interested in learning, who have not put effort in meditation. So these Rishis, their hearts went out for the sake of those who had not developed this kind of a pure mind, Samahita Manasa or Shanta Manasa. Those who did not have that, they could not have accepted this. They could not have understood what God is trying to convey through the Vedas. So for them, the Rishis developed this methodology of Vaikari Vani. Vaikari Vani was to help the Rishis teach the Vedas, the Upanishads, and all the other knowledge that they received by chanting it, and the students were to repeat the same thing. This way, this knowledge went on getting passed from generation to generation. After this Vaikari Vani came the written lipi or the scripts. So Sanskrit was given Devanagari script, and Devanagari script is how Sanskrit is read and understood. And also the Vyakarana is there, Panini's Vyakarana is there, which I mentioned the other day. It's one of the finest Vyakaranas in the world. It is one of the most logical Vyakaranas. The grammar, the rules that Panini has come up with, the way he has consolidated everything, is one of the best in the world, is what it is said now. So in this way, the knowledge was passed on and was written down in scripts. And these scripts were passed down from generation to generations. And that is how finally they were all now translated, interpreted in many languages. Sanskrit has been now translated in many languages, including some work is there in German, some work is there in English, some is also there in some other European languages, and Indian languages like Kannada, Telugu, and other things. So this way the knowledge got transferred, it remained preserved, it was never lost. And finally we have come to today's world where this knowledge has to be preserved as audios and videos. From Lipi it has become Doordarshan. I heard a story. The story is that once a child was traveling by a plane. I'm sure many of you must have traveled by a plane. And the plane was going through bad weather. So it was going on shaking. All the passengers in the plane were panicked. They started thinking what's going to happen. The plane was going 10 feet up, 10 feet down. And many times when we travel, we get this announcement from the cockpit, from the pilot, fasten your seat belts, we are expecting bad weather, expect some turmoil, no hot drinks will be served, and things like that. And we have to follow the rules. Whenever there is a bad weather, the plane shakes, we have to agree and we have to sit in our place. We can't even go to bathroom at that point in time. So when all the others were panicking and trying to go to bathroom and not being allowed, there was this child happily sitting and playing some game on the screen in the plane. So somebody who was sitting next to this little boy, an elderly person who was shivering, panting and breathless and wanting to go to bathroom, as he said, he looked at this little boy and smiled and said, "How is it that the whole plane is shaking, everybody is panicking, and you are happily playing in the TV?" The child said, "I have no fear, I have no worries." "How come you have no fear and no worries?" "Because the pilot is my father," he said. "So my father knows how to manage the plane, how to manage the bad weather. Therefore I have no fear whatsoever." And he kept on playing the game. Now it is up to us. Situations in life will always come to us. Someday or the other it will come. If not here, somewhere else. If not now, at some other point in time. If not in this way, then in some other way. It will come. Bad weather will come, turbulent weather will come. Plane will shake. At that point of time, plane does not get shaken. What gets shaken is your own faith gets shaken. Your faith to believe in this Jnane Atmani, the Mahati Atmani, and above all the Shanta Atmani, the mind of God which is at work. That is the faith that one needs to put in turbulent situations. This is where Vedanta, this is where spirituality helps. See, everybody has to go through their life's experiences in their own way. There is no avoidance. We cannot escape that. But what we can do, we can choose how we respond to those situations. That's all is in our hands. The one who has equanimity is a yogi. Samatvam yogam uchyate. The one whose equanimity gets disturbed, whose peace gets disturbed, like the other passengers in the plane, those people are not called yogis. At best, they are bhogis. Bhogis means those who have to compulsorily experience the joys and sorrows of life. Good comes, they are happy. Bad comes, they are sad. These are bhogis. But yogis are those, whatever comes, they maintain an equanimous attitude. They know it is all under a big divine drama, a big divine play, and therefore, because God is at the forefront, He is at the helm of affairs, therefore I have nothing to worry. This is the way who lives. They alone are called yogis because they have samatva bhava. Think of Nachiketa. He left his home. In fact, he died. That is what his father said, and he went to Yamaloka. He had no problems with that. He only wanted to know the truth. He was so clear. And what happened when he went behind the truth? Not only he got the truth, but he also got everything else that he wanted in his life. He got his father's love again, and he got the message of Yama, how to help people to reach heavens and or achieve greater things who desire for that. At the same time, he also realized his true self, and therefore he became a yogi. So though he started like a bhogi, he ended up being a yogi. So part 2, the first shloka, so important a shloka. The chapter 2, Valli 1. Okay, it says, Paranchikhani vyatrunat swayambhu tasmat paran pashyati na antaratman kachid dhira pratyagatmanamaikshat avritta chakshur amrutatvam. Let us understand it piece by piece. It is one of the very, very important shlokas to understand how our senses and how our mind works. All the outgoing senses have to be turned inwards. That is Adhyatma Yoga. So on that basis, this shloka is now explaining to us what is to be done and why it has to be done. Paranchi, para means outside. Anchi means going. Paranchi khani. Khani means holes or apertures. What are the holes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then navel, excretory, genitals. So all these holes basically are outgoing, it is saying. Bahiranga vatantado. It goes outside. That is the problem. It has been created like that. Why fire is hot means it is created like that. Why water is cool, it is created like that. So now we have to change these habits. What are the change of these habits? What happened finally? First you say. All these senses were outgoing. They only want to see things outside. They don't want to turn inside. So Vyatrunat means destroyed. Through dhatu is to destroy. Vyatrunat swayambhu. Swayambhu andre swayam bhavita. Who is born out of himself. Who was born out of himself? Brahman only. Because there was nobody to give birth to Brahman. Because of the outgoing senses which have been destroyed by the God, therefore they cannot capture God. God is beyond them. He is more powerful. If the thief outruns the police, then police can't catch the thief. So that is the idea, that God outruns the abilities of the indriyas. Because adrishya, agrahyam, agandham, all this we saw in the last. So all the 5 senses cannot catch God. Brahman. Therefore, Brahman has destroyed them is the way it has been poetically presented. Then, therefore, what happens? Because he created the senses outgoing and he escaped the senses. He cannot be captured by the senses. Therefore, what do these senses do? Tasmat, therefore, paran pashyati. All these senses only see the outside. See means you will say eyes. Illa, eyes is just one example. It applies to all the five Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Because of that, it all sees what is that, what is this, who is that, who is this. All the questions are outside questions. Because they have been destroyed by the God, it means their capabilities have been destroyed to see God. Therefore, it is very difficult for them to turn inwards and see God who is within. So, na antaratman, they cannot see the inside. Then what happens? How do we find God? Who finds God? In that way, answer has been given. Kaschit dhiraha. Kaschit means some, one in millions. Dhiraha means the one with the dhi, pure buddhi, discriminating buddhi. Because all the others have bad buddhi. What buddhi is that? Tamo buddhi, rajo buddhi. They are only running behind senses, sense pleasures, ambitions, greed and accumulations. However, this dhira is somebody who has understood. Remember we saw last time Shreyascha Preyascha Manushyame. In that dhira word first time appears. What does that dhira say? Shreyo vrinite. The dhira chooses the noble and the good, and the fool, mando, preyo vrinite. The fool chooses the pleasant ones. So this dhira, who has already gone through the understanding what is right, what is wrong, what is real, what is not real, has turned his gaze inwards. Pratyagatmanam. Pratyagatman means what? Pratyagatma is the one which is inside. That self which is inside, not the outside, aikshat. He sees that. How does he do that? By turning his gaze inwards. How does he turn? He says, Avritta chakshuhu amrutatva michan. He does avritta chakshu. Avritta means what? He covers his eyes. Covering his eyes, how can that happen? Only when you close your eyes to outside world, that is when your mind turns inside, in meditation. What are we doing in Master in the Mind, you tell me? We are closing our eyes so that we stop seeing the things outside and keep worrying about what is outside and turn the gaze inwards. And first analyze our own mind. I have sattvic thoughts, rajasic thoughts, or tamasic thoughts. Now, tamasic thoughts should be discarded, rajasic thoughts should all be discarded. In sattvic also carefully you have to choose. And finally, one thought we should hold in our mind, dharana. Aham Brahma, Sarvam Brahma, or Aham Brahmasmi, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, whatever thought you think. Why? Because that is how mind turns inwards. Otherwise, mind's habit is only running outside. It's like children. Keeping them inside the class is a task. Leave them, they will all run outside. That's the same way mind is so chanchala. Always wants to run outside, behind the senses, sense objects. And it is very difficult to teach this mind to turn in. So what is the poetry is here is Avrita Chakshu, as if he has closed his eyes. Why? Because he doesn't want to see the outside thing. Then what he wants to see? He wants to see the inside. Who? Dhira. Therefore, Avrita Chakshu Amrutatvam Icchan. And why does he do that? Because he wants Amrutatva. If there is no opposite team and there is no goalkeeper over there, you don't enjoy the game. It's not possible. That's how these Indriyas have been created the outgoing way and God is hiding inside. And what we have to do, we have to turn our mind inside. Not the Indriya inside means not you turn your eyes inside, ears inside. Hage agalla. That is to say, avrita, close your vision to outside and meditate on the inside. Turn your mind inside. Because who sees? Eyes are not seeing. Can a blind man see anything? His eyes are there. Khanis are there. But he cannot see anything. Khani ears are there, but a deaf man or a very old man cannot hear. Why? Because it's not the holes which are helping you to see or hear or smell. It is the faculty called mind behind that, which is observing. That is why we say in a classroom you are sitting. Your teacher is speaking. Your ears are open only, you have not closed them. But what happens? Your mind has shifted to something of the past and you are sitting and daydreaming. And suddenly teacher will ask you, hey, you only answer this question. What happens to you? Samadhi. Suppose you are eaten enough and somebody forces you to eat another gulab jamun, you don't like it. But when you really want to eat it and you get a gulab jamun, you enjoy the gulab jamun. Same way samadhi which comes because of shocks, that samadhi is not samadhi. That which comes by your own will, that is samadhi. So such a student who's sitting in the class, listening to the lecture, ears are open, but where is his mind? Somewhere else. He's not heard one word. Therefore, turning the vision inwards doesn't mean you catch your eyeballs and turn them inside. Idea is to turn the mind, which is always thinking of outside things, to turn it inside and say, think inside. That is why I said all life we have spent asking the question, who are you, who are you, who are you? This is time to ask question, who am I? And I gave the definition, we are Brahman manifesting as Jivatma in this body-mind complex. So with that idea when you see, then there is no problem at all. So this is the method. All the indriyas are outgoing because God has created them like that, and God himself has conquered the indriyas because indriyas cannot capture God. So what shall we do now? We have to train our mind to detach from the outgoing indriyas and turn it inwards. And that is where this meditation, Atma Vichara, all these are the methods. So master the mind, you will understand its importance when you understand the importance of these verses. When everything depends on our mind. If you have trained our mind to listen to us, not to worry, not to fear, not to panic, not to get restless, we have won the battle of life. Everything starts there. I'll give you a good rifle. Suppose you don't know how to hold it. Then what will happen? Can you fight a war? Even though you have a very good rifle, you don't know how to hold it. You'll end up shooting some of your neighbors instead of shooting the enemies over there. So mind can be so dangerous to you when it is not trained. When it is trained, it is your biggest power. You can use it to do anything, including realize God. Now we'll go to the next shloka, which is the second shloka. It says, Parachaha kama nanuyanti bala te mrityoryanti vitatasya pasham atha dhira amrutatvam viditva dhruvam adhruveshviha na prarthayante. It is the continuation of the previous shloka, that because indriyas are created in an outgoing way by God, Dhira turns it inwards. It means he works to realize God. Why? Because he is desirous of immortality. He is not desiring for the worldly things. Next continuation is that Parachaha kama anuyanti bala. Achaha means outgoing. Parachaha kama anuyanti balaha. Outgoing desires, kamas. Anuyanti is followed by whom? Bala. We came to know what is Bala. Bala means spiritually immature. They may be very old people, but they may not have any spiritual maturity. So they are all learning behind the outgoing senses and outgoing desires. That is Paracha Kaman. Anuyanti goes behind who? Bala, the spiritually immature, childlike person, spiritual child. And what else is? Te Mrityoryanti. And what happens to them finally? Those who run behind the desires outside. Mrityoyanti. They meet death. They go to death. It means at the end of their physical life, they die and then they get into that punarapi jananam maranam cycle and go to hell and heaven. So therefore it says those who don't go behind God but they run behind the senses and the worldly pleasures, they all end up dying. Dying means go back into the repeated cycles of birth and death. And vitatasya pasham. How? Pasha. Yama has a pasha. You saw that Yama has got one rope-like thing. He will swing it like that and throw. And it is so perfect. It will never miss the target. Correct? It will go and catch the neck of that person only who is supposed to get dragged by Yama. It won't miss. You can do makeup, you can hide behind anything, you can go and hide anywhere. But Yama Pasha is so intelligent that it will correctly come and fall on that fellow only wherever he is hiding. And how is this Pasham? Vitatasya, very wide. Wide means it can go any far. Anywhere you try to hide from Yama, you cannot hide. He'll come there and pick you up when your death comes. That is Yama's Pasha, so powerful it is. It means you can't escape death. That's what it means. It's super intelligent. It will find you. It's not possible to fool Yama. He will come and catch you. They say, like a karu, a calf, can find its mother cow in a crowd of 100 cows. Human people will not be able to distinguish. But the calf will go exactly to the other udder of its own mother cow. Like that, this yama goes exactly, the karmas goes exactly to the same person who have committed the crime. We can fool the police, we can fool the Interpol, we can fool all systems, intelligence systems of the world, but you can't fool this yama system. He will come and catch you wherever you are. So those who run behind the worldly objects, worldly things, they ultimately have to meet yama. There is no escape. Last time we read in the almost Phalashruti of the previous chapter, what happens Nichaya? If you come to know that, what happens? Mutyu Mukhad Pramuchyate. You will escape the jaws of death. But this person who is still running behind the worldly pleasures, he has not heard Kathopanishad, or even if he heard it, he never meditated. Even if he meditated, he never practiced. Such a person will still run behind senses. And such a person has to be caught by Yama in his Yama Pasha. And what is the next one? Atha Dhira, therefore. What this Dhira does, he knows. If I run behind these worldly pleasures, I have to die at the end, this Yama will torture me. So what he does, Atha Dhira, therefore this intelligent one, the discriminating one, Amrutatvam Viditva, having known what is this immortality, how to achieve the immortality by turning the senses within and not letting them run behind the worldly things. Such a person who has understood this principle of immortality, what does he do? Dhruvam adhruveshu iha na prarthayante. He does not desire for the dhruva, means the permanent, out of impermanent here. Means he doesn't do yagna yagas, homa for the sake of heavens, like Vajasrava wanted to do. Dhruvam adhruveshu hi iha, means in this world, na prarthayante. He doesn't run behind these ordinary things hoping that he will get the permanent out of it. I always tell, out of temporary things you can never get a permanent thing. Only permanent thing can be permanent. See, take gold, melt it, make another ornament, it will remain. After the fashion changes, you can melt it and make another ornament of the same gold. Of course, every time the goldsmith will eat a lot of money, a lot of gold in the name of making charges. But the truth is that gold will continue. It will not get destroyed. Likewise, from permanent only you can get permanent. From temporary thing you cannot get permanent. Temporary thing means you prepare some food today. How long will it stay? 2 hours, 3 hours, maximum 5-6 hours. In refrigerator maybe 1 day, 2 days. After that, it cannot be permanent. So then we add preservatives. Then we put it into tins and cans, and we put a vacuum and all kinds of things we do to preserve the foods. And then we eat after 2 years. And what happens to them? Then we become impermanent. After eating the food, stomach problem, food digestion problem, food poisoning, went to the hospital, and from there to Yamaloka. Food is adhruvam. And you try to make dhruvam out of it, it is not possible. It will not stay. Like that in this world, asthiram anityam lokam. This is temporary world. Whatever is there today, it is not there tomorrow. Think of anything which is there today. Is it there tomorrow, you ask? You will say, I am there. You are there today, but just are you the same as what you were yesterday? No, there is some changes have happened. Some cells inside you have died, new cells have formed, some hair has fallen, some teeth has loosened. Something has happened within you. Or you have gone a little taller or fatter according to the food. So nothing remains permanent as it is. Everything is changing. That is the idea that from this changing temporary world, you can't find permanent happiness. Permanent is not possible out of a temporary world. And therefore, na prarthayante, the dhira knows it for sure that there is no possibility for me to attain immortality which is permanent out of a mortal world. So he refuses to run behind the worldly things. He is not interested in yogakshema, in the sense he is not interested in the small pleasures of life like good food, ahara, nidra, bhaya, maituna, and also larger ideas. I have to become rich and important and famous and powerful, and also I should go to some heaven like Vajasravas, so I should perform this homa, yaga, yajnas. All these ideas don't fancy him anymore. He is understood. Even if you do all these things, at best you can go to the highest heaven. After that, what? After that, come back again and restart the whole process. So this doesn't end. Therefore, he does not want to run behind the worldly things. So, those of you who are getting confused, then what about our education? What about all this? Should we take up a job or not? What about our families? You should have them, but how much? Only so much which will help you walk on the spiritual path. It should not come as an obstruction. If you don't eat food, then what will happen? How will you meditate? You will be all the time meditating on your stomach than on God. Therefore, having upavasa is not important. Upavasa you will do half a day or one day, and night you will compensate for 3 days. As if you have punished yourself, so now you should get rewarded. Many people do this. So I tell them, why do you want to do upavasa? Upavasa, stay close to God. How? In your mind. Think of God. But during upavasa, what are you thinking of? Food. So what are we going to get at the end of the day after having done the upavasa? So that is of no use. Real upavasa is to stay close to God in your mind. Think of God all the time. Therefore I said, all this adhruva is required. To what extent? To the extent of maintaining your body. Sharira avadharana, it is said in Narada Bhakti Sutras. Deal with the world only to look after the welfare of your body. Don't ignore the body. It's a vehicle. That's why take precautions, develop healthy habits, preserve the potency and the vitality, vigor of your body by keeping right habits. Don't destroy that by wrong habits. However, don't give over importance to this body. The moment this body becomes more important, Indriyas and those horses become Dushtashvas. They start taking this chariot in the wrong direction. Therefore, body has to be used as a vehicle controlled by your mind through like the reins, and buddhi should actually the real controller be. It should decide. So use the body because sharira madhyam khalu dharma sadhanam, it is said. With the body alone we can do dharma sadhana. All the activities good that we want to do, it has to be done with body only. Therefore body is important. But how important? Only so much that it helps us continue walking on the spiritual path. If body becomes an obstacle on the spiritual path because of its desires, temptations, then it is not needed, it is not good for you. So you should control. That is why Yukta Ahara Viharasya is said. Everything should be in limit. Body should be kept under control, limit. We must only do so much for this body and not beyond that. Otherwise, this body will become a pain, obstacle all the time. Stomach is digestion problem, I can't sleep, this is paining, that is paining, BP is going up and down, sugar is, all these issues are coming. Why? Because we have abused this body. Otherwise, body was capable of looking after itself. Who can control you? You have to control yourself. You put any number of rules, policies in place. But if you are not interested in your own welfare, who can help you? Uddhared atmana atmanam, Krishna says. You are your best friend. Atmaihi atmano bandhu, atmaiva ripura atmanaha. You alone are your friend, you alone are your enemy if you want to walk on the spiritual path.